Hey, welcome back. All right, so today we're going to continue talking about finances. How do you get through that mental blockage, that moment when you think of something that you want to buy, you get that feeling inside you, and most of the time we go buy it, right? We go buy that, whatever it is. I use the coffee things often, or a Monster Energy drink, or it could be buying a new car. It could be buying a new appliance instead of getting the one that we have fixed. So at my lowest, it took me getting $30,000 into debt before I decided to make a change. Before I decided to look, and I was like you. I was like you, and like most other people, I had tried. I had tried many different methods to get control of my finances, to budget, to use envelopes, and put money in them, and these go to this bill, this goes to that bill. Try the Dave Ramsey method. I bought books, and it just didn't work. And it's not that the methods weren't effective, it's just that I wasn't ready, and I didn't have the mental tools and the reaching my bottom for it to be my time. Okay, but the thing is, we don't have to get to a bottom. We don't have to get to boatloads of debt before we make this change. We have to want the change, and then we just have to follow a few principles to really understand where we're at. So, and that's the first thing. Okay, whatever you're trying to change, whatever big change you're trying to do in life, whether you're trying to stop doing something or to start doing something, start doing a gym routine, start eating healthy, or stop drinking booze, stop drinking alcohol, everything starts with an understanding and inventory of where you're at. And when it comes to finances, what works for me, and what I think is the easiest point of entry, easier than a budget, is to write down everything you buy. Keep a receipt for everything you buy. Put a notepad on a table or whatever when you get home. The nearest platform, the nearest flat surface after you enter your door, put a notepad there. Buy a brand new one, and this notepad is going to be used for that specific purpose. Take all your receipts out, write down what it was, how much it was. Dinner, with my spouse, $40. Lunch with my coworkers, $15. Coffee at wherever, $5. At the end of the month, tally all that up, and as you're tallying it up, you will start seeing, your mind will start making connections, and you'll get a total understanding. You'll see everything. Write down the amount. If you want to include your rent, if you want to include your utilities, I encourage you to do this. But it definitely has to be anything other than rent, utilities, things like that. Put in your car payments, okay? Put in your gas. Every time you fill up your car, put that in there, and then you see, and your mind starts to connect the dots, and you're smart. Listen, you're smart. Okay, if you got no money problems, if you've already got this figured out, you're not listening to this episode, you're likely not listening to this channel, okay? Your mind starts to make the connection. Your mind starts to see as you're going through, and do this, you got to do this for at least 3 months, but at the end of each month, you got to do the inventory. And as you're doing that, it's okay, add that, okay, I see that again, okay, it looks like I do this every week. And it's not fun. It's not fun seeing where we're spending small, ridiculous amounts, but then when you see them at the end of the month, and then you tally it for the total year, if you were to extrapolate that forward, it's not fun. It's kind of like seeing ourselves naked. Okay? And in a sense, it is the same emotional and mental process you have to go through to quit drinking alcohol, to start working out, to start eating healthier, to stop eating garbage. Okay? I'm not saying it's the same thing as a chemical addiction, but the emotional and mental process of absorbing it really, because it's what you are, is you have to see it as becoming a new version of yourself. Entering into a new version of yourself, okay? Entering into a new level of consciousness, because it is a change of mindset, okay? When I was at my heaviest, at 250 pounds, and I owned a barbecue catering business in Minnesota, and I was eating all the leftovers, all the macaroni and cheese, all the potato salad, all the pulled pork, all the brisket, everything. I'd gone to the gym. I had eaten chicken breasts and broccoli, chicken breasts and rice before for 1, 2, 3 months, 4 months. But I knew if I wanted this to be a lasting change, this had to be the new me. This had to be my lifestyle now. And that's when I understood that. And I said, I'm done. I don't want to be fat anymore. I want to be healthy. I knew that what I had done multiple times, thinking hard about it, committing to it in my head, even writing things down. Okay? I knew I had to tell myself and believe, and sometimes not believe, that this is my life now. And so it goes for finances. If you want to make the change, if you want to get out of debt, if you want to get control of your finances and feel the power, there is a power in not being in debt. There is a power in tossing money into your savings account every paycheck. There is power in having the time and the money to study investments and to know that you've got the money. If you want to pull the trigger on that investment, you can go do it. But the first thing we got to do is we got to get from a negative balance to even, to zero. Okay? This is us now. You stop the video, go look in the mirror right now and say, this is who I am now. I keep all my receipts. Okay? Even put a Post-it note in your car, because most of the time when we make most of these purchases, we're getting in and out of our car. Put it on your dashboard. Save receipts. Save receipts. Put it all over. We have got to change. This takes the work. This takes it's simple, but it's tough because it's something new. It's something we haven't done before. We're changing our habits, okay? But let's grow the F up, okay? We're not 14, 15, 16 anymore, okay? And wherever we're at, it's not a moral failure of the amount of debt that we have. Look, we're born behind the ball. We're born, it's tough being born in the West with all the commercialization and now we have Instagram, and now we have Facebook, and now we have TikTok, and we see everyone living their best life, even though they're doing video footage all day long and giving you the best stuff that's going to get the clicks, that's going to get edited the most and make it look the most amazing. I talk about that with the travel stuff. Okay, you get inspired about a place because you've seen someone post, oh God, they're at waterfalls, then they're at this nightclub, and then they're on a yacht, and then they're here, and then they're there. Dude, you gotta look. You gotta smarten up to the amount of footage and the amount of time and setting up that goes into that. Okay, it's not just you show up and that happens as a normal person. But let's get back to the finances. Okay, tracking it. This is who you are now. This is who you are now. If you want to make the change, okay, you don't have to David Goggins it. You don't have to, go live in a cardboard box and eat ramen noodles for every meal for the next year. But you got to make a change. And understanding where you're at, and then whatever it is, like I said it before, instead of getting a mocha, you get a coffee, okay? And maybe you add some syrup or something to it to sweeten it, okay? Instead of getting a large, you get a small, okay? Maybe you sell back your brand new car to the dealership and you get a 5-6-year-old used car that works perfectly fine, okay? Now if you have monthly payment, it's way less, or maybe you don't have a monthly payment at all, okay? Maybe it's, look, when I was married, I got divorced, I stayed in the same house. I got the house we rented. I got a roommate to help with the mortgage, okay? And then from there, I went to a 1-bedroom apartment. I downsized, got rid of some stuff, got cheaper rent, okay? My monthly payment was cheaper. And then from there, I moved in with my girlfriend. We both lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. My rent went down, okay? From there, I knew I wasn't ready for that. I needed more time on my own. We're gonna do a video on that of how we go from living at home with our parents, our family, to living in college with roommates, to getting a girlfriend or a boyfriend in college, and then right after college we go into moving with them, and we never spend time with ourselves. I want to make a video on that. But then I knew I needed more time to work on myself. I needed more time living on my own. So I went and I got the tiniest, I believe it is the tiniest studio apartment in Minneapolis. And that again, I reduced my rent. I reduced my utilities because of the size. You don't need to heat it as much. You don't need to air condition it as much. And I reduced my amount of possessions. I freed up that mental space by minimizing the things I had. From there, I moved to Puerto Rico. Or I moved to Tennessee. No state income tax. I saved more of my money. Okay, you don't have to do what I did, but you've got to do something. Look, if you're in the pain, if you dread the bills that come every month, if you dread getting your paycheck because you already know that it's going out to pay, all these bills that you have, your car payment that for a car you don't need, that's more glamorous and more luxurious than you need. Look, we're not, and say, oh, I need this, I need Starbucks every morning. No, you don't. You're not 14, 15, 16 anymore, okay? It is time to wake up, to grow up, and I'm not shaming anyone by saying that, okay? But in a sense, we're coddled. We have it so easy in this society, in our lives these days. Okay, we don't have to work for anything. And I learned this from Barty Arez from the Stop Drinking Coach podcast. Which if you want to get sober, if you want to get off drugs, alcohol, Stop Drinking Coach podcast. Look it up. It is a totally different approach than AA, than anything else I've ever seen or read about in my life. And I'm 43 days sober now. But what he says is, we're the only organisms, we're the only species that doesn't have to fight for its survival, whether it is gathering food all day or running from predators or a predator needing to find prey and kill it. Okay, we're the only ones. All right, you might throw dogs and cats in there. Okay, but even if in Latin America, there's plenty of street dogs. They go back into survival instincts. That hasn't left them. Okay, we have it so easy. Okay, and we start at a disadvantage because of the commercials, the corporations that have teams and teams of psychologists and people that study the mind and what captures us and the colors to use and what the actors need to do in the commercials to make us look, want that. It's tough being, but it's where we're at, okay? Let's accept it. Let's accept ourselves. Let's forgive ourselves for getting where we're at. But look, folks, eventually there's another crash that's going to come. There's another recession, maybe the depression. I don't know. I'm not an economist. But this is what happens in a credit debt-based system that we live in. Okay, our dollar is backed by nothing. It's not backed by gold. All it's backed by is the faith and expectation that everyone else is gonna use it and continue to use it. And once the system, which you got a lot of other countries that are, you got the BRICS agreement or the BRICS group, whatever you want to call it, Brazil, Russia, India, China. And they're looking at alternatives to get themselves out of using the dollar because they see how irresponsible every single one of our government, the people who get in office, and the bureaucrats who are just there year after year after year and don't get elected, how irresponsible they are with the money and just continue to spend and spend and spend, and we get in trouble, we print and print and print. Because of that system, a crash, a reset, a depression is going to happen again, just like 2008, just like the dot-com bubble, just like 1987, just like the 70s. Okay, every 6 years, every 6 to 8 years, they say there's a recession. It's going to keep happening until the system just collapses. Okay, and I don't have a crystal ball. There's a lot of people like Peter Schiff that they've been saying for the last 15 years, it's going to crash this year, it's going to crash soon, it's going to crash soon. Okay. You can waste your time listening to them, okay, and I'm not saying they're wrong. It's going to eventually happen, okay, and you can get into that doom cycle that, oh yeah, I'm not prepared, this, that, and whatever, or you can do something about it. And let's say you were like me, and you right now you're $30,000 in debt, and you start making some moves, and you start putting your debts into the Snowball Calculator website, snowballcalculator.com. I'll put it on the bottom here, and you start having a plan, and you start putting your extra money that you're saving by not spending on these just items that we don't need, that we want, whatever it is, the coffee, the Monster, the car, okay, and we downsize the car, and now we have a little bit extra money because we don't have that payment, and we're putting that towards our bills, we're putting that towards the smallest credit card loan, because we're doing the snowball method, and we want that victory, so we're hitting the lowest one first, or maybe we're hitting the one with the highest interest rate first, okay, and even that website, that when I was getting out of debt in 2015, 16, 17, that's what I used. I'm sure there's way better tools now, but I know that website's still out there and it's great. You plug in all your debts, you put in what the payment is, then you put in and the percentage, and you put in what you can put extra, and you tell it you want to attack the highest interest rate debt first, or whatever the lowest balance is, okay? I liked doing the lowest balance because I was going to get a victory sooner. And mine was just like a $500 credit card bill or a student loan or something like that. And once I got that, I was like, heck yeah, okay? Maybe I bought myself a nice dinner at Chipotle, whatever. And then I rolled whatever I was paying to that bill, plus the extra I was paying to that bill, that total, into the next bill. And on and on and on. And look, I still lived life. I still went out. I still had fun. I still got the Chipotle once in a while. I still ate chicken wings once in a while at the bar or restaurant. Okay? I wasn't eating ramen noodles. Okay? I still lived life. I still enjoyed life. Life is here to be enjoyed, okay? But we just take it too far. Okay? And good. I mean, not good, but I'm going to say it's no... Look, forgive yourself. It's not a moral failure. You're not a piece of garbage because you're in this much debt. It feels like crap. It sucks. It sucks, man. And we shouldn't, look, we weren't born to live like this. We weren't born to live like this, okay? So I'll wrap it up like that. Snowball Debt Calculator, Debt Snowball Calculator. I'll put the website on the scroller on the bottom, okay? And if you want to work with me, look, as I said in the other video, tropicalplanb@gmail.com, okay? Tropicalplanb@gmail.com. If you're thinking about moving, to Central America, the Caribbean, South America, and you want help getting over those mental hurdles, okay? I can help you with that, okay? I can help you get through those sticking points, okay? The best thing to do is to go do a pre-move visit for a minimum of 3 weeks, preferably 4 weeks, and live like a local. Buy your stuff from a grocery store. Live within a budget. Live within your means. Okay, don't spend like you're on vacation. That's the best way to find out how to go to a place. But if you want to work with me, email me. And lastly, I'll end it with this: you've got to start getting in the mindset, like I talked about. And there's some books that can really help you get into the mindset. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. The Millionaire Next Door. I forget who the author is, but that's an overview of people who you would think they're just normal people. There are people that, for many of you watching, make less money than you, but they got control of their finances and they became wealthy. And by the way they live, the house they live in, the car they drive, their habits, you wouldn't think they're wealthy. You wouldn't think they're rich by the way we see people rich on Instagram and on social media flaunting their lifestyle, okay? The true wealthy people don't need to flaunt their lifestyle and don't, okay? The Simple Path to Wealth. That's more of an investing book, but it gets you into the mindset of taking this next step, becoming this new version of yourself, this version of yourself that is good with finances. You can do this, okay? And then the last one is Set for Life by Scott Trench. He's with the Bigger Pockets crew. Bigger Pockets, great podcast. About money in general. So that's it. What has worked for you? If you've gotten out of debt, tell me in the comments what's worked for you. What are your sticking points with getting out of debt? Tell me in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching.